Hello, and welcome back to another week of the Couch Coaches. I don't know about you guys, but I'm still catching my breath from that finish on the weekend. John, talk me through it. How have you come out from that game all right?
Oh, mate. I mean, I'm very butthurt right now. I'm still butthurt from the game. I actually, yeah, I'm very. It's hard to get the words. It's hard to muster up the words to describe that game. It was an amazing game, and it's hard to muster up the words to describe the pain that I and many other Warriors fans are feeling right now after that. Because I just don't know how we let in two tries. Within 3 minutes. It was just there was a part of me was thinking, no, this is not going to happen. This is not going to happen because sometimes this happens against the Warriors. You know what I mean? It just happens against them. And I'm very butthurt. I'm very butthurt. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think I saw something on social media. Someone saying, "I don't know what your Warriors fans are going on about. This has been happening since '95," and yeah, part of me was sort of just like I had all these memories sort of flashing back from all
Yeah.
these games where we've had it in the bag, and then in the last 5 minutes, well, that was what 3 minutes, wasn't it? They scored two tries.
Yeah.
That Pappenhausen try was, I don't know, it was a well executed try, but we probably were just a little bit lazy in
Yeah.
defence.
Agree. Yeah.
And then obviously there was the charge down, and then giving them another set, and people saying, but he didn't play it shouldn't be six again. But I mean, that's always six again, like we know that, but it was just people sort of just clutching at straws. But once again, like the Sharks game, we couldn't quite get a complete performance, could we? The first half was messy. We were probably lucky to be sort of 18-6 down. We had a couple of calls against us, which I'm sure we'll touch on at some point. But then second half, I think you were pretty high on the Warriors, and you called it. You said we're going to win this one. It's going to be tight.
I did. I did.
We should have.
I remember speaking to you at halftime. You said you were saying 13 plus for the Storm. Yeah, mate. Where's the faith? Come on, bandwagoner, far out. I still believe they had it in it, but when that first half was like you said, you called it. It was messy. It was actually atrocious. It was atrocious. It was like mistake after mistake, like simple mistakes. As you can see, I'm struggling to muster up the words because it's just there's a lot of emotions going on right now for that game. The first half, really atrocious, just messy, and I think Andrew Webster addressed that, saying like it was just a bad first half. We weren't playing well, and the team would acknowledge that. But the second half, wow, the Storm they weren't in it at all. They weren't in the game. We were taking the ball from the back end of our on their kicks on their last plays, and we were mustering up like 60. We were marching up 60 or 70 meters, and then kicking the ball to them and keeping them down their end. They were hardly ever in the Warriors' end, and then the Warriors, when they were down there with the ball, they were able to convert those plays into points. They were awesome, but with 3 minutes to go, I wasn't standing thinking we've got this. I was actually worried because, as we know, this happens to the Warriors at times. I was so worried, and when Pappenhausen got through, it was a well executed play, but it was a bit soft as well. You have to admit how we just got through that line just so easily.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And then I was thinking, they've got like 1 minute to get another try, and then when I'm with you on this one, with the whole charge down, and there are a lot of people out there who are commenting, and they're embarrassing themselves by going on social media to make their comments. There's so many Warriors fans that are just embarrassing themselves. They think they know what they think they know the league, but they don't. They honestly don't. And when Mitch Barnett sort of charged that ball down, he didn't charge it down. He was just going for the it was attacking the playmaker who had the ball, which you have to do. But he turned his back and was kicked into him. It is another set of six. As simple as that. And I was at the time when it happened, I was like, oh, why'd you do that? I'd rather have him had taken the kick, because he was taking the kick from close to just 10 meters out from the sideline.
Yeah.
The angle was bad and he was under pressure. I would rather have him had taken the kick, wouldn't you?
He wasn't expecting that ball out, he was not in the slot to kick that at all. So I'm with you. yeah, would have rather just because there's no way that kick was getting anywhere near over. I think, and we could have just
Yeah.
just tapped it in for five tackles and slowly, just had sort of some of the big boppers just
Yeah.
just wasting the time. But honestly, when Pappenheisen scored that try, I was like, I know what's happening here. Like there was no doubt in my mind that it's happened so many times, and even with such a I mean, like I think when the Warriors playing well, I think it's proven that. I mean, Andrew Webster's obviously a very good coach because I mean that when they're playing well, gosh, they're such a well-oiled machine. I don't know if you saw the stat. I think it was in the first 35 minutes of that second half, the Storm had 5 or 6 plays of the ball in their half. Like so they only you were talking before about how we were playing so well. We were just getting them, and there was a lot of talk about Johnson kicking to Coates, and I was like, why does he keep kicking to Coates? He's so good under the high ball. But then one of the I think maybe Mickey sort of pointed out, he was sort of like, oh, they're cooking it to Coates so that he can't get those meters because he's so good at running those meters back.
There's a reason behind it.
It was all part of the plan, and then he knocked it on at one point, and we scored a try from that, I think. So, the plan sort of and obviously paid off because they weren't getting into their half at all. We just played such a good 35 minutes of league to come back from what was it 18-6 at half time.
18-6,
because it was a funny one, because I was thinking we don't deserve for it to be 18-6, but it probably should have been 18-12. I was a bit dubious about the Montoya no try. Like I think only because it had gone up as a try. I don't know whether the evidence was there, and they didn't really. They looked at it once or twice.
And they said it was short, and like it didn't look that short.
Yeah,
like, it was
and I
I
only looked on the one angle as well. Yeah, so I was a bit dubious about that one. But at the same, I mean, I wouldn't say definitively it was a try, but it was just the fact that the ref had said it was a try. And then there was obviously the obstruction goal, which is just Jerome Hughes milked that beautifully. He's obviously been practicing that one because Ford was, I think it was Ford, wasn't it? Ford went into the line. And then Hughes ran in, quite clearly realized what was happening and ran into him. And then I mean, both of those plays, it could have very easily been 18-12 at halftime. But to come back from 12 points down at halftime against a Storm and to get yourself in that position, you feel for the boys. But it has been quite good, like you look at on the social media, like in previous years, maybe the Warriors would have been absolutely ripped for that sort of thing happening. But I mean, A, because of how well I played the second half, and B, because of how freakish that try was. I mean, like
it was
these NRL, these wingers these days are just absolute freaks. The one that Dallin scored, you thought that was, we watched that and you think that's, in hindsight, like that's a great try, but we're so used to them. I wouldn't have even sort of blinked twice at that. Like Dallin was doing that probably, once every second week last year. So, but that Coates one, that's magic to watch. I mean, I've watched it. I have watched it a few times since because I do appreciate a good play, but it would have been nice if we were on the right side of it.
Well, I'm really glad that the Australian sort of rugby commentators, whether on the game day, but also in their shows, they all acknowledged the Warriors. They all acknowledged the Warriors' play. So everyone's going on about that try, but they were still acknowledging the Warriors. Like I think on the Matty Jones Footy Show, they were saying like, well, they haven't lost any admirers, and they maybe have lost 2 games in a row, but it doesn't mean anything. And this is why it pisses me off about bandwagoners, because they go on social. Have you seen it? They go on social media. They go nuts at the players and say, "Oh, I remember. Actually, I took a screenshot because I needed to say this. There was one. Where is it? Let me find it. Oh, here we go. I'm not going to say the name because I just don't want to bring people down, sort of thing. Maybe in the future I will, but for now I won't. I can't believe we are 14th on the table. How are we going to win the comp if we're going to lose all the time? And there's all these laughing emojis at persons. Like, this is what I mean about bandwagoners. They don't know the game, but they still have, they think they do. So they're more than happy to post on social media about the game. 2 games, chill. Chill. Yes, we've lost 2 games that we probably should have won both, but we didn't. But it doesn't mean we're in a bad place. If the Warriors can play like they did against the Storm, who I think are the front runners, to be honest, in my opinion, at the moment in the NRL, they're the front running team. Don't know if you agree with that, but I think they are, and they're definitely a top 4. And I mean, Nick Meaney said after the game in an interview,
they were missing a couple of key players in Munster and
yeah,
Solomona, so that would have made the task a little bit harder. But yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. Yeah, you're right. They're constantly the team to beat, basically.
They beat
the
Penrith
last
as well.
20 years.
Yep, and then Nick Meaney was saying, you know, like I remember Nick Meaney said at the end of at the game, not word for word, but he was basically saying that they just dominated us in that second half. And the Warriors they were quick, they were slick, and they were quick. That's why they were so impressive about them. They looked like just like a team that could win this. And that's a team that I know that's the team that from the start of the season when we talked about this, I'm confident they can get there again, top 4, and do the job because of the way they played on against the Storm in the second half. But they need to do it consistently. But that's why I'm saying, everyone, chill. Yes, we've lost the first 2 games, but it's not over. It's just 2 games. One of them was against Cronulla, who have now, you know, won 2 games in a row, and one of them was against the Storm, who won 2 games in a row. And we should have finished those games, but I just think that there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to panic about. But there are people out there panicking about it, and the ones that are panicking are the ones that don't know nothing about the game. So sort your bandwagoners out, mate.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we do need to learn how to win a game and play in 80 minutes. You know, like I think, yeah, I mean, I'm not worrying about it, but it'll be tough if we get to the end of the year and, you know, like we just look at the scoreboard, because, you know, you look at sort of the table into last year, you know, how tight it was between that sort of 3rd and 4th to 10th and 11th, you know, like, so I just don't want to get to that point of the year and then maybe miss out on the top 4 because we didn't get the 2 points this week and last week. But yeah, I mean, there was there's too many positives to take out of that game. I mean, you can basically, in the second half, you can basically put point at any player on the field in the 17, basically. Obviously, it was interesting with Egan being out. Lussick, I thought Lussick was great, you know. He was pretty sloppy in the first half, to be honest, but he was one of the players who in the second half really, he was just good ball. He
needs a better attacking game, in my view. Like, he's good defensively. We've always said that. But I think, for example, a good dummy half can also pick the ball quickly from the ruck.
He's not a running dummy half, you know. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
That's something that he could definitely work on. But yeah, I mean, obviously, Harris DeVita came onto the bench because of that. So that's obviously a sign of potentially where Webster might be looking when Egan comes back, to have have Harris DeVita there as obviously cover for Egan when he inevitably gets injured or has to go off for an HIA, like he seems to happen to him every couple of weeks. But so yeah, it'll be interesting when Egan comes back, whether they'll stick with Harris DeVita playing that interchange role or whether they'll give it back to Lussick.
Well, they named the team. Have you seen the team?
Yeah, it's just the same, isn't it?
It's the same. Oh, no, because Egan's back.
Oh yeah. But like,
Egan's back, and
doesn't sound like he's going to play though.
No, yeah, you're right. I've heard the rumors already that he might be on the out in terms of not in terms of like because he's playing bad or anything, just because he's not ready, not match ready. So yeah, but going back to HIAs, mate. Did you think it was a bit dubious with Tohu Harris having to come off for the ear? The face to ear, but the Melbourne Storm player doesn't have to go.
Who was the Melbourne Storm player?
Oh, I forgot his name. It was the prop, the Fijian prop.
Oh yeah, it's Kimi. Yeah, Tui. Sorry, can't pronounce his name. I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, Tui, Big Tui. Yeah. Was it the same hat? Was it?
Yeah. So his face hit him in the ear, and his ear was bleeding. I think his ear was bleeding. But the independent doctor called him off, and they were like, it was just perplexed. But like, for me, it's like, well, why are you sending him off just for that?
Yeah.
Why are you getting an HIA for that? Because that's like 15 minutes, which is a long time.
He did sort of try him up with penalty, though, didn't he, as well? So
yeah, I think
maybe
so too.
Maybe that's come back to bite him in the bum a little bit.
but it still should affect. It should still affect the Storm player as well. But there's a lot of calls that went against the Warriors, but there were a few that went against the the Storm as well, I believe. But
Yeah, how about on Harry Grant being pulled up for the pass into into the
that
it was so blatant.
So obvious. It was so obvious. That's the thing. That's the good thing because even he couldn't deny it in the end. You see the replays. He just realized, I tried. Okay, that was me. I tried to do that, but that was so obvious that what he was trying to do, and it stuffed the team up. I mean, what if they had lost? They were, because they took the 2 points from that. But that
but
also. Yeah, and there was a lot of things that, like you said, the Jerome Hughes thing. He suspended for 1 or 2 games because he pushed the referee out of the way as well.
Yeah, that was a bit weird. I didn't think too much of it at the time. It just looked like it was sort of pretty regular run of play. When you're sort of when you're in the zone. It didn't look like the ref didn't have a word to him at the time or anything. Not that I sort of noticed, but he's obviously just accepted it and taking his week off. But God, how good was he in that first half? It was a bit of a, you just watch him, you're like, oh, he's just good to have him in the Kiwis. But I feel like he's done this to the Warriors more than once. He seems to really have it in for the Wars.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
No, I know what it is. I know what it is. I know what it is. Even I'm agreeing with you because he's a Kiwis player, so you want to support him. But he plays for the Storm, and the Storm are full of grubs. The thing that pisses me off so much about the Storm is how long they hold the player down in the tackle. Like the player's trying to get up. They purposely do it. You watch every Storm game, every player, and obviously there's new players that come on board every year. I've noticed this. They hold the player down longer than they should, and the referee lets them get away with it. And there were a couple of times in the Warriors game where they actually got pulled up for it and got penalized for it. But they do it all the time. They hold the player down. They slow the ruck. They slow the play the ball down so well. Well, actually, that's not the way to say it. They don't do it well, but I think they just do it. They hold on for too long, and the referee they get away with it. And that's what annoys me about the Storm. And they have other tactics that Craig Bellamy has just been using for years. Gets his players on it, and they all do it, including Jerome Hughes. And for me, they're a grub team. They're a grub team.
Grubs.
Yeah,
they win. So maybe we should start being more grubby.
Yeah,
we'll send Webby a message just to say, hey, how about you get some grub into the boys because we just need that extra little killer instinct that we're missing at the moment. Well, I sort of mentioned before about the team. So you look at it from 1 to 17 in that second half. I mean, there was just so many sort of highlights, and I've decided to start a new little segment on the show. There's been a lot of talk about the Dally M's and people questioning the judges and whether they're watching the games and that sort of thing. So I thought we'd start our own little Dally M's, but just for the Wars. We'll call it the Wally M's. The Wally M's. It's got a good little ring to it, you reckon? And we just same process as the Dally M. So we'll just each Warriors game, we just pick our top 3 Warriors for the day and give them their 3, 2, 1 points. I'll start us off. So I'm giving 3 points to Dallin, or Tenley's Lesniak. Couple of tries. I mentioned before his beautiful finish in the corner. I think he had 181 running meters off about 18 runs. So he was everywhere, and some of that work he was doing, running it back from the kicks. He just throws his whole body into it. I don't know if it's just because of his hair, and his hair flies around everywhere, and it looks like he's sort of running faster or putting more effort in than usual. But I thought he was just fantastic. That game. I got Fanua Blake with 2 points. He was about 190 odd running meters. I think I read before about 70 post contact meters. So it just shows he's just so hard to get down. Just keeps rolling. Had a couple of really crucial offloads as well. One which led to what try was it? Maybe Montoya's try. He definitely had a big hand in that. And then 1 point just to SJ. Thought he controlled the ball, controlled the game brilliantly. in that first half. In the second half, kicking game was on point, set up both of Dallon's tries. So it was good to see him sort of back to. There was a few concerns about him after week 1, but he looks like he's definitely got it in him to be up there in the Dally M's this year.
Yeah.
Where are you going with your points this week, Johnny boy?
Mine are very different from yours. I've got 3 points for Dylan Walker.
Wow.
I thought when he came on, I thought he was a game changer for me. He was a game changer for me, and I think if you look at the way the Warriors, what got them, on the front foot was their play. They're utilizing their set of 6 and going downfield, and they were making a lot of meters. And he took a lot of hits. I don't have the stats in front of me in terms of how many hits he took and stuff, but he took a lot of hits, and he did it at pace. Did you notice how fast he was doing it and stuff like that? So he was taking a lot of hits, and he was doing that, and he was good defensively as well. And even though people wouldn't have noticed him in that game, I think he helped inject and spark up what the Warriors needed to do in that second half. So I've got 3 points for Dylan Walker. I've got 2 points. I was talking to you earlier about this before. It was between Jackson Ford and Rocco Berry. I think I'll give it to Rocco Berry. I just thought Rocco Berry had a solid game. I think he's beefed up a little bit more as well, and his defense was good, his attack was good, and the standout thing for me with Rocco Berry was just that he was just doing everything. He was executing what he needed to do on the day, and I think he did really well, and especially the pressure on Coates. You can tell that it was a plan of theirs because they kept kicking to him, and when Coates was about to catch the ball, Rocco Berry didn't really actually compete. He just would stand there and wait for him to catch the ball and then drive him back. So there was a plan. There was obviously a plan. And 1 point for me would go to Jackson Ford. I just thought he had a pretty good game. I think he took a lot of hits. He ran it up really fast. Managed to to break the line a couple of times as well, and scored an awesome try from that amazing Roger Tuivasa catch off the and pass off the ground and got it down. After that, so yeah, those are my 3. Those are my points. I'm going with Jackson Ford with 1, Rocco Berry with 2, and Dylan Walker with 3.
Nice. I had I had Ford kind of. I was in in between Ford and SJ, and actually Tuapiki, I thought he probably honourable mention to him, maybe for a most improved, because I thought it was a real sort of step up from him. And I think from looking at social media, there's been a few people who were, they weren't hating on him last week, but they're just saying he's obviously not Chance, which he's not. But yeah, I think he was great. He was just, for a small guy, he's tough, and he was like Dallin. He was throwing his body around, and I thought Jackson Ford was probably actually the most improved because he didn't have a great game last week. But apart from probably that penalty against him, which shouldn't have been a penalty for the obstruction, where the bunker looked at it for probably half a second and just like, oh, the ref said this, so I'll agree with him. He was great. Scored that try. Also great to see Roger in that second half. He was getting some space, got himself involved, got under that ball, and flicked up that offload to Jackson Ford for his try as well. So there was actually, I reckon there could have been 6 or 7 people that you could. We've given our our points to different players. 6 different players, and I think there's a couple more you could have from that game. So
and you're right about Tuapiki. He had an amazing game, to be honest. I thought he did really well. Yeah,
it's great to see.
And you look at the Warriors team for this week. You look at it, and I think pretty much this is their starting 13, except for obviously when Chance comes back, Tuapiki will drop out. But when Murata comes back, I think that they'll probably start him on the bench.
Yeah,
I personally think Webster's happy with his forward pack the way it is right now, with Noah Blake, Barnett as the 2 starting props, Egan at hooker.
You're not moving that,
and then Jackson Ford, Capewell to Harris. I think that's what I think he's settled on that forward pack, and I think Murata will come onto the bench as a prop. So he'll take either Ali or Bunty Afoa's spot.
Yeah, I imagine it'll be Ale. They don't seem to be using him too much. Didn't get used at all in round 1, and then he probably only got maybe 15 minutes. 15
That's a
minutes.
shame
I mean,
because I thought
I really like him. I'd
yeah,
like to see some more of him. And yeah, I think, and as time he had, I think he just didn't have enough time to sort of really put his,
show. Yeah,
he was just there to um, give some of the big boys a rest, really. So,
yeah,
but Bunty was good off the bench. I thought
yeah.
he was really involved. Seemed to like, I know he's still got it in him. He really can inject some energy. He's another one of those guys. Just head down and he just off the back fence. It's a beautiful sight to see. So. Interesting enough, with the Warriors being 0-2, you look at some of the other teams that are 0-2 as well. We've got the Knights, the Bunnies, and the Broncos all there as well. So, I mean, there's some good teams that haven't won a game yet, like
The
Broncos,
Broncos.
obviously. Yeah.
Oh,
Mate,
mate,
what did they win last week?
Oh, maybe I'm thinking like, cause remember how like I told you in round 1 I was very.
Oh, no, sorry, the
weird.
Broncos did win last week. No, the Broncos won last week. They've had the Rabbits.
Yeah.
I was thinking, but the Rabbits, Knights, and the Warriors. So the Knights, who were very good last year, won 10 or 11 games in a row, and the Bunnies just something's not quite right in South Sydney. There's been a lot of calls for Demetrios being potentially the first coach to sort of lose his job, but we're not going to get into that sort of negativity on this podcast, are we, John?
No, definitely not. Wow. Wow. But well, it doesn't help when you've got Latrell Mitchell, just cursing at the end of his post-match interview where he's just going off, swearing every single word.
I think I saw that because I think it was on Triple M maybe that happened.
Yep.
And they've been banned. They've been banned from doing post-match interviews now after that. So
because Channel 9
is supposed to have Channel 9 are supposedly have like exclusive rights to it. So I think Channel 9 and the Rabbitohs both complained. I saw something about it before. So, but the Rabbitohs have made some changes this week actually. They got Elias has been dropped. They've got a young, I can't remember his name, young halfback, and then Jack Wyden's back in the centres. So. I would have thought maybe if they're going to drop Elias, they might have tried to play Whiten and Walker in there, but they're obviously trying something different. But I do feel for Elias because he's getting a pretty hard time on social. He's just a young fella, but his performances probably haven't been up to scratch.
That's the hard thing about being, not just a professional athlete, but anybody these days living in our era of social. We're living in this era of social media. You do one little thing wrong, and people will just. They're more than happy to go criticize, and people who have never picked up a rugby ball or rugby league ball, in their time. Yes, you're right. I agree. I feel for him because he's young. Just he's played 2 games, and people are roasting him. It's just like far out, guys. Chill. That's why sometimes bandwagoners boil my blood sometimes, just because they talk, and instead of keeping their opinions to themselves or just discussing it amongst mates, they have to go. And not just have a discussion on social media, they have to make a statement on social media, and some of them are just so laughable. It's just like a lot of the comments actually from the Warriors pages are actually responding by saying they're telling them all to shut up or get off the page. That's their responses. That's their response. Get off the page. That's what I'm talking about. There are so many people that don't have a clue what they're talking about, but you know what? I'm an expert. I'm going to go put something on social media and do this and let what people say, and people are going to join me and they're going to like my post when it's just doing the opposite, and that does my head in when it comes to socials. But anyway, I say that every week, so I'm going to have to stop going on about that. But
then while you're at it, also make sure you follow us on social media because we're all just about positivity and good times.
We are. That's what we want.
Some other news from the Wales camp this week, John. I don't know if you saw it, but Metcalf and Lussick have both been re-signed for another 2 years.
Yep.
We happy with that?
I'm very happy with that. I mean, I saw Metcalf's comment, not word for word because I don't have it in front of me, but I think he said I was some place where I was well looked after and loved, and I found that here at the Warriors. Something like that, something along those lines. His comment, and I just thought, that's what makes the difference for me with the Warriors, that they're actually treating their players. That's why this is what's going to keep players here, and it's what's going to attract players now because they're getting the reputation that even if you're an Aussie, you can go over there and you can enjoy it there, because that wasn't the case before. Aussies used to come to bar maybe like Steve Price, Kevin Campion, Brent Tate,
Michael
Aussies
Lark.
used to come. Yeah, usually Aussies came over here to get a second chance at the NRL, like James Maloney, like Chaz Townsend, all those guys. They weren't doing nothing before. They came to the Warriors and they shined at the Warriors. But when they shined at the Warriors, then they got picked up by other clubs and left.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like James Maloney was an amazing player, but he wasn't amazing before he joined the Warriors.
No.
It's the Warriors that gave him what who he was up post Warriors, like with Penrith and stuff, and who else with Cronulla, when they
Cronulla,
won,
won the premiership with Cronulla,
yeah, exactly. So that's my point. Is that
with Chad Townsend in the halves as well. So
yeah, exactly, and they were Warriors before. Warriors gave them their chance. They went over there, and then they got their chance. They did well. And they got scooped up. So that's what for me. That's how the Warriors. They were a club like that. It's a place to go get a chance to be in a starting lineup to get NRL experience. And then once you've done that and you've done a good job, other teams are going to look at me and want to get me and scoop me up. But now I think the Warriors are offering like especially under Webster, players know they can come to the Warriors knowing that there's a good coaching setup.
Yeah.
You know, we've had some really, really, really bad experiences with coaches in the Warriors, you know, before Webster. You know, how many times
what are you talking about?
Yeah.
We've had a great run of coaches, you know, you got your Matt Elliott's, your Blueies, your McFadden, Nathan Brown, Stephen Kearney. What are you talking about? Just good memories all around.
Yeah. They don't they last more than a year. So basically to hear Metcalf say, I'm just looking it up right now, I just want to see it. Here it is. Where is it?
Yeah, I think the fact they're both obviously they're both young, it's a really good sign for the future for the club. You know, they keep being able to get these couple of young guys who are obviously in the sort of 5-year plan. And then you got sort of like with Lussick, like he'll be learning from Wade Egan. Metcalf's got so much experience in the halves around him to learn from. You know, like playing outside Johnson, and then he's got Tamari Martin sitting behind him as well. I am a little bit concerned about some of those guys playing New South Wales Cup because there's some guys in that Warriors team that are just too good to be playing New South Wales Cup. Yeah. So I'm just concerned that we might lose the likes of maybe Tamari Martin or like someone like Jez Tavaga. Like, I mean, he's not going to sit around and play reserve grade for too long, is he? You know, like
that's what happens. That's what happens, isn't it? Like with reserve graders, not reserve grade, they're first graders. And they're first graders playing reserve grade for too long, they're not going to be happy. And what happens? What happens when that happens? And it doesn't matter whether it's with the Warriors or another club. Those players will go to their agents. Their agents will be making calls to the Warriors and saying, "Hey, why isn't he playing first grade?" And obviously, they don't have to give him an answer, but they will. They'll say, "Well, because there's someone else that's there that's doing well." And I don't
think any of them probably should be. I think we've got so much depth at the moment, but it's just there's. I think it might come back. It won't come back to bite us on the ass at all, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see someone like Jez Tavaga or Kossi Pompey just re-signed for another 2 years last year, didn't he? Which seemed like that was before Tuivasa-Sheck was announced. But like Tom Alley, I imagine that when Neil Corey's back, he'll be back to the New South Wales Cup. So it might be. Hopefully they'll stick around and it'll be great for the New South Wales Cup team because it means we might potentially, might be 2011 all over again when we get 3 teams to the grand finals. But it's a good sign for the future. I was really, really happy to hear about Metcalf and Lussick.
I've got the quote here just quickly. He said, this is on Andrew Webster backing him on and off the field. He wrote, he said, "I always wanted that, just someone to back me and to feel loved, and I got that here at the Warriors immediately." So it's good to see that, players that, that could probably get signed up anywhere else are happy to stay because of the environment. To put rugby league aside at the moment, and I can say this from experience, as having a good work culture makes a big difference. No matter what job you're in. So having that work culture, which I think Webster would have, set up there in the environment, everything's going well, the fans are behind them. Why wouldn't you want to stay? why wouldn't you want to stay at the club?
Mhm.
Capewell obviously could have gone to any other club. I reckon any other club would have scooped him up. But he came to the Warriors because he's got a relationship with Webster. He knows that the Warriors are on a high. Why wouldn't you come in? Look, it looks like he's loving it.
Yeah,
He's loving it. Yeah, he's loving it.
really, he's embracing the Waz culture.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. Game this weekend, Johnny. The boys heading down to Christchurch, taking the Raiders. 2-0 Raiders actually. So they're looking all right. I mean, admittedly, one of those game wins was against the Tigers, but I thought they were pretty good against the Knights. They
Not
have
convinced.
not convinced. No.
Not convinced.
So yeah, I had a look at the stats. So they played 46 times between them, and it's 23 each. So they won 23 games each. 3 of the last 4 the Warriors have won, and 2 of those wins have been on the back of Sean Johnson drop goals. I don't know if you remember I think it was the last time we played the Raiders at Mount Smart last year, and we had a pretty similar situation to the last game we played actually, where we were up, and then the Raiders scored 2 tries in the final 3 minutes, but Jared Croker missed the sideline conversion, and then
that's right.
Shawnee J with ice in his veins hit the droppy, and then the other 1.1 was when I think it was with the game when Tuivasa-Sheck did that try saver on Rapana in the corner. I don't know if you two seasons ago, I think.
Yep, I remember that.
And then Sean Johnson similarly in Golden Point nailed a droppy there. So and both games were 21-20. So interesting enough. So,
but I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced on the Raiders. Not convinced at all. I know that they're 2-0, but it's like the Warriors. We're 0-2, but a bit. You ask most people who's the better team, and you would say the Warriors. Even though Canberra have won 2 games, you would still say the Warriors are the better team.
But we need to play for 80 minutes though. That's the problem.
Agree. That's the problem. Yeah.
It's great to see them heading down to Christchurch, to the mainland, to
your old stomping ground.
Yeah, my old stomping ground. Yeah, I was actually going to go down for this game, and I looked up flights, but they were a bit expensive. It was Dad's birthday on Sunday. It sort of been a nice little double whammy Christchurch weekend. But
New Zealand, they'll do that. They'll do that. They know what's going on. They know that people want to go down there.
Yeah. Should we just bump the flights 3 times the normal price? Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah,
I've been to a few games down there. I haven't actually been to the old rugby league park, which is now called it was Orange Theory Stadium for a while. I think
Apollo Project Stadium.
Apollo Project. What is Apollo Project? Is that the worst name for a stadium?
Yeah, when I was writing the media release, when I was writing the Hurricanes media release, to make sure I got the name right, Apollo Project Stadium. Yeah, had to make sure I got that right when we played the Crusaders down there. So
yeah. So I think from what I could see, we've played 6 games there, and we've only won 1. But 2 of those were preseason. One of them was the game earlier this year, and one of them was a couple of years ago. We had another preseason game there. I think the last time we played there, I remember we played the Panthers there once. We played Manly there, 2019, I think, and got a real spanking. So hopefully they do better than that. But I mean, the fact that they sold out that trial match down there earlier in the year, I'm sure the atmosphere will be electric. And I mean, I'm backing the Warriors. I think it will be a close one. I don't think we're in a position to run away with the game yet. But I think they need the 2 points.
Normally I wouldn't do this, but because just be realistic. But I'm actually being realistic but wild at the same time. 13 plus Warriors.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Actually, I think I put out a thing on Instagram before, just saying, give us your hot takes the weekend, and Matt McLaughlin said, Warriors. He said 12 plus, but probably meant 13 plus, I imagine.
Yeah.
And then we had a few hot takes from our old mate Don McCormick.
Yeah.
His red hot take was that Tuapiki will keep Chance out of the team when he's back fit.
That's interesting.
It's a huge call from Don. Yeah. And Crystal Ball take was to start a 9-game win streak, peaking with a Golden Point win versus the Panthers in round 11. So he's done his research, figured out where we're playing and who we're playing. Don, I'd love to see it. So if anyone else has got any hot takes, send them through to us. Just click us slide into the DMs and let us know what you got. Don's also said, cold take, whatever your Supercoach prize is, Fat Guts Tony is winning it. So we do have a Supercoach League. I need to find the code for that and give it another plug because it's not, didn't get too many people on it, but that was some hot takes from the fans. So
nice.
I'd love to say 13 plus, but I'll keep it a bit tighter, 1 to 12.
Did you watch the Canberra game against the Tigers?
No, I didn't actually.
The Tigers were poor. Like they scored, one of the tries that they scored was just really embarrassing. I don't know if you heard about the try where Sebastian Chris on a penalty just took it, went down the short side, gave it to his winger and just ran straight through. It was it was embarrassing, and the score was 26-12, and like for me that's just like they were embarrassing. The Tigers, poor old Benji. I don't know what he's going to do with the side there because he's got a good enough side to actually do something, but they just can't seem to combine. They can't seem to gel. In the past 3 seasons, they just don't seem to gel. So hopefully, it's a wrong early prediction. So it'd be good, nice for the Tigers to do something good, but just don't see it happening. It's like it's like the same thing with the Bulldogs. A squad full of stars, full of great players, but as a team, they don't gel. They don't gel. It's just
Gus Gold picked the wrong coach, that's for sure.
Yeah,
because there was it was sort of like, oh, which Penrith assistant are we going to go with? And they went with Serraldo, and the Wars ended up with Webster, and I think we feel like we're in a much better position. The Bulldogs are a funny one. Like you do look at that team sort of. I don't know if you saw. I think since 2 seasons ago, end of 2022, I think. 21 it must have been. There's not one player who's still in the, they've in their squad, the 30-man squad. So it's not even 117. They've completely just got rid of everyone, brought in all these new players, and you look at the signings they've made. They've got Burden, they've got Kikau, they've got Marnie, got Crichton now, Curran. They don't seem to be playing Curran in the right position.
They're not gelling. They're just not. They're just the team as a whole. They just can't seem to get it together. And like I said, it feels like a lot of team of individuals. I know they're not trying to do that, but that's what it feels like. And for me, it's the same with West Tigers and Canberra Raiders. Better outfit, but I still think we're gonna. I think that the Warriors team will be angry, and they'll be. I think the Warriors will be itching to put on an 80-minute performance because everyone knows that they put on one half performances. First half against Cronulla, amazing. Second half, they were just 20 minutes against Cronulla, 60 minutes where they're poor. And then you've got a Storm, where we came back. We were brilliant. Like to do that over there as well against them at their home ground, we were brilliant. And that's why there are a lot of commentators, rugby league commentators, still they're holding the Warriors in high regard because they know that even though they've lost, they're showing what they can do. And once they get it right, in both halves, they're gonna trouble teams. They're gonna trouble some teams, and that's how I see it. But I still think that with Canberra, they're a good team, but I just don't think they're good enough. I mean, the surprise team for me is Manly, to be honest. With what's his name? Brook. They're calling they decided because they used to be Brookvale Oval, but it's not called Brookvale Oval anymore. But they're still trying to say they should change it to Brookvale Oval again.
Brooksvale.
Yeah, Brooksvale. That's right. Brooksvale. Sorry, Brooksvale.
Good to see him playing some good footy. It's 2 games in, so I wouldn't be calling him as the next Jonathan Thurston just yet.
I wouldn't. I'm not going that far.
We've seen what he can do at the Tigers for the last 10 seasons. So, but I wasn't too high on Manly, but they've done all right so far. So, sweet. Should we do a few picks before we sort of called in for the week?
Yeah.
You're probably not aware of this, but I'm actually keeping count of the picks that we're
you're good,
given
good.
here.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
So I'm currently up 8-6 after 2 rounds.
You bitch.
So we had a pretty bad round in round 1. I think I got 2 and you got 1. So it was dark days, but we were improved last week. I got 6 and you got 5. So we'll shoot for that.
What's
perfect
the overall tally?
8-6.
8-6. So that's the overall tally. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I need to knock you off your horse here. So all right, let's do it. Let's do it.
So we got Thursday night, Panthers Broncos. Panthers at home, $1.33 favourites. Fisher Harris is out, and Reynolds is out for the Broncos. So I think Reynolds is a
big key.
pretty massive out.
Yeah, that's a big key.
Jock Madden's playing 7.
Yeah, Penrith for me. Penrith.
Yeah, I got to go with Penrith too.
Yeah.
Friday night, Waz Raiders, Christchurch. I think we're both going.
Waz. Yep.
We'll put a bonus point on 1 to 12 for 13 plus, eh?
Yeah, I got 13. What do you got? 12, 1 to 12.
Yeah, I got 1 to 12. Yeah. So if they do win, Roosters Rabbitohs, Roosters $1.49, $1.69 favourites. You had Whitens in the centres for the thing for the Rabbitohs. Elias is out. Keary's out, so it's a big for the Roosters, but
tricolours still for me. Still for me, tricolours.
I'll go the Rabbitohs.
Oh,
they got to get one up at some point, don't they?
Oh, thank you, because now I know I'm going to be up a bit more on points. So thank you for that. Thanks for that.
Jack Whiten is going to be the missing
he's
link.
Nothing. I don't rate him at all. Yeah, I don't rate him that much.
He's a great player. Bulldogs Titans. Bulldogs favourites $1.85. Titans still no Fafita, no Campbell.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, it's a hard one, eh?
I'll go with Dogs. I'll go with Bulldogs. Yeah, I'll go with Dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to as well. I have backed them already this year, and as we said before, they've got good players. This needs to click. Titans have looked pretty bad. The Titans have looked horrendous actually. So, they've only played once, didn't they? But Tigers, Sharks. Yeah, hard to disagree. Yeah. There is a couple of pretty good games this weekend. Dragons, Cowboys. Dragons coming off their 38-0 drubbing by the Dragons, by the Dolphins, who lost to the Cowboys.
I did not see it coming. I actually picked them to win the Dragons, so did not see that coming.
I was fins up in that game last week. So I'll take the one there. Who's next? Eels, Seagulls. This could be an absolute.
That's a hard one because they were actually pretty good against each other. They were pretty good.
Great. They probably were pretty unlucky. They sort of, first probably 60 minutes they were in it. Well, they were in it the whole game, and it's just, and they had a few injuries as well. Simonson being knocked out by Luai and Luai not getting even on report for anything was a bit strange, but I suppose when you're Penrith, you can get away with some of these things like that. I'm going to go. I think Seagulls looked alright, but I'm not sold on them completely, and I've liked what I've seen from the Eels, so I'm going to go the Eels.
Yeah. I'll go Eels.
Knights, Storm. Storm are without Hughes, Munster, Asafa Salamona, and Christian Welsh. And the Knights have dropped Jackson Hastings.
On the out.
Oh, really? I think he's just injured.
No, sorry. Maybe, let me rephrase that. Not on the out. I think he's just out of favour with Bellamy at the moment. I've heard that he's out of favour. That's why he's not in there.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I read that he was injured, but
yeah, I could be. I mean, you never know. You hear a lot of things about rugby league these days, so yeah, could be anything.
Yeah, injuries are easy. Knights are favourites, $1.83.
Yep.
Oh, Storm without so many good players. Yeah, give me the Knights.
Oh, I'm going to Storm. No,
okay.
I'm going to Storm.
Give you.
I think Jackson Hastings has been dropped from what I believe.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, Jack Cogger's starting. I said, Jack Cogger's starting for the Knights, not for the Broncos. I can't remember who's starting for the Broncos instead of Oh, Jock Madden. That was it.
Okay.
And I realised I forgot about start bench drop real quickly.
Yep.
5'8", Munster, Cody Walker, Dylan Brown. I'm starting Munster, benching Brown, and dropping Walker for the record.
I'm the same. I'm exactly the same. Yep. Exactly the same.
Sweet.
That was a bit easier. That was quite an easy one. I don't think Walker's had that much. His form hasn't been that great. So yeah.
I know. I think Walker will be the sort of player that it depends what form he's in when you ask that question. There'll be certain type, like if he's on one of those runs where the Rabbitohs are just absolutely carving up, he's just got that left side, that ball on a string to AJ out there. Like if he's in one of those forms, you could really put him in there. And but I love Munster. He's one of my favorite players in the game, even though he's a grub.
Yeah.
And Brown.
He's a grub. He's a Storm player. He's a grub. He's like
Brown's looking fantastic this year, so it's good for the Kiwis. So I hope he can he obviously had a bit of a shaky year last year, with his indiscretion. So hopefully he can learn from that and come back a better player. Any last words before we call it in for the week, Johnny?
No. Still working on a new name. We'll continue to go with couch coaches for now, but we will come up with a name, a new name. So expect that to come soon. Spread the word, subscribe, and jump on the bandwagon with Richard. Yeah,
absolutely.
But up the wires.
Jump on board. Yeah, thanks for listening. Up the wires. 1 to 12. Shawnee J. Ice cold field goal in Golden Point, and up the mighty Warriors, up the wires. Yep. Let's go on, keeping the faith. Choo, choo, choo. Choo, 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 choo.